Hey everybody, it's Retro DM Ray. Hey, I'm back with you on the channel, and first of all, I want to wish everybody a belated Merry Christmas and a proactive Happy New Year to you and your family. May you be blessed in the coming year as it fast approaches 2023. I'm excited to be back on the channel with you, and I just wanted to give a special shout out to another channel that has been subscribed to me for a while. I know that, but I only recently found, watched all his videos and subscribed to, and even chatted with the guys today, actually, of his final upload, which was a Kentucky Rex. So thanks for putting out the stuff that you put out, man. Doesn't matter how sophisticated the channel is or how much you got out there. It's just cool to see some younger gamers that haven't been in the hobby as long as I have for 40 plus years coming around to this old school way of thinking. So that's really cool. So welcome to the channel rather late. And good to see you on there chatting with us, Fred, and James as well. And so keep doing the likes and the subscribes and the shares, and just checking that out and checking that around. And please check out Kentucky Rex's channel. He talks about some good old school stuff as well. All right, so today we are going to talk about another Dragon Magazine article, and today we are going to be talking about Dragon, and this is going to be issue number 4, actually, or number 5, I'm sorry. And the reason why I'm skipping to number 5 is because number 4 is Empire of the Petal Throne and Tekemel, and I never played any of that, and so that doesn't really appeal to me at all, and that's pretty much the entirety of that issue. And so I don't want to ruin it by just showing you a picture and then saying little of nothing about it and moving on. So I thought I would go ahead and jump to Dragon number 5. This is the issue from March of the early parts of the Dragon. Again, March of 77. So of course, obviously, this is going to touch on mostly OD&D, as the early ones did, of course, because that's what was out at the time. And of course, we still have our editor, Timothy J. Kask, staff artist Dave Sutherland, associate fantasy editor Gary Jacquet, and cover art by Dave Sutherland, of course. And so in today's, I'm going to touch on a couple of things here that I thought was really cool in this particular Dragon magazine. Again, if you have a chance to dig up this old archive somewhere, do that. Otherwise, you can go to the internet and search for these different Dragon magazines, and you'll find them on an archive. They're free to download and take a look at those yourself. But this particular Dragon magazine has a featured creature that I really like and I have used a lot in my gaming, which is the Ankeg. And this picture you see here is artist Errol Otis. Some really cool stuff. Of course, you might have seen his art if you see in the BX books. He's on the cover of those as well. Many other things over the years of Dungeons and Dragons. Some really cool stuff. I just really like that. So I'm going to read this entry in here for you. It says number of appearing is 1 to 6. The description of this creature is it is 10 to 20 feet long with a brown chitinous overall and pink underside. The armor class is 2 overall, and the underside armor class is 4. The movement is 12/6 through the ground. Its hit dice is 3 to 8, 8-sided die. The percent in its lair is 25. Its treasure type is B2. It squirts acid for 1d6 damage according to size, or bites for 3d8 points of damage, or 3d6 points of damage, 3 to 18. It has no magic resistance, and its alignment is neutral. Now, this entry does continue on page 28, and it gives you a little bit of ecology. It's very brief about the creature, but it is helpful. It says the Ankeg burrows through the earth like an earthworm, preferring soil rich in minerals and organic matter. Thus, it will usually be found in forests and choice agricultural land. This causes farmers great consternation, since Ankegs like to supplement their earthly diets of soil with a bit of fresh meat, human or otherwise. Since its mouth is not designed to rip and tear meat, its mandibles crush its prey and secrete a digestive enzyme, causing an additional 1d10 points per turn until the prey is completely dissolved. An additional 1d 10 turns can also be done. If sorely pressed in battle, it is able to squirt its digestive acid 30 feet once per 6 hours. However, when it does this, it cannot digest anything for the same length of time, so it will usually bite. The NKEG's favorite method of attack is lying 5 to 10 feet underneath the ground until its antennae detect a likely victim passing overhead. Then it burrows out directly underneath the prey and crunch. I really like that. There's another thing in this that I find rather fascinating just from OD&D, which is not pictured here for you, but it is Wizard Research Rules written by Charles Preston Goforth Jr. These were rules designed to supplement the research rules that are found in Men in Magic at pages 6 and 7, and the Dragon Volume 1, Number 2, which we talked about before. These rules have been play tested in the Kingdom of Blake game at the Historical Simulation Society in Charlottesville, Virginia, for over a year, real time, or over 9 years, game time. Which, by the way, that is a really cool part about games from the old school. You played for years and years the same campaign, perhaps the same characters if they managed to live. If not, you continuously played that same campaign over a long, long period of time. I just think that was really cool the way we did it back then. Of course, life is different and faster paced today. That's just not possible. Certainly online games, maybe not possible. But if you have some stories where your campaigns have been going on for really, really long periods of times, man, I'd love to hear them in the comments section for the video. That'd be great. The first part of this Wizards Research Rules is new spells, or spells not found in existing rules, which are initially unknown due to the intelligence rules set out in Greyhawk 7 to 8, which may be researched at any level magic user, cleric, or healer at the following cost. And then it gives a first level spell as chance of success is 20% for 1 week at 2,000 gold piece investment, or 100% chance at 10,000 gold piece investment. Second would be the same percentages, but 2 weeks time would required, and it'd be 4,000 and 20,000. And so at every level, this doubles. So third is 3 weeks, and 8 and 40, and fourth is 4 weeks, 16 and 80, and so on from there. Okay, all the way up to a 10th level spells, 10 weeks and 1,024,000 gold pieces, or 5,120,000 gold pieces. Excuse me. That's pretty crazy, and I did not realize that in OD&D spells went to level 10, which is interesting. It also talks about here about how using spells to increase your stats. That's codified by new rules in the advanced first edition Dungeon Master's Guide concerning using of wishes and those types of things, that once the stat reaches a 16, any further advancement beyond that goes at a 1/10 of a point at a time per wish spell or per alter reality spell. But here's an interesting take on that. And then also it talks about only wizards, patriarchs, witches, and matriarchs, which is Dragon Magazine number 3, may create or change magic items through research, and normal research involves making or changing the magic item over a period of time while the item is placed inside of a magic furnace. It's necessary to throw gold pieces or other items of value into the furnace during the research. So it's very funny how that's described that way. And it might be a cool thing to do to your game. You might be able to have some of these old dead magic furnaces, for example, lying around in your campaign world that characters might quest for and take special items for and create something really unique or cool for their character, or as a world unique, campaign unique event in your game. Not something I had thought about before until having read this. It says any weapon, shield, or armor, or indeed anything else, can be enchanted to +1 in 2 months for 2,000 gold pieces. Serious enchanting, I like how they say that, is the process by which weapons, shields, and armor above +1 can be produced. Serious enchanting requires 10 months and the investment of 10,000 gold pieces. When seriously enchanting a weapon of any type, use the rules for determining swords found in Monsters and Treasure at 27 to 31 and Greyhawk at 40 to 41. but substituting the following table for the table in Greyhawk. So 01 to 03 is Cursed Weapon of Backbiting. 4 to 6, Cursed Weapon of Backbiting plus 2. 7 to 9, Cursed Weapon of Backbiting plus 3. 10 to 25 plus 1 weapon. 26 to 29 plus 2. 30 plus 3. 31 is Weapon of Slaying. 32 to 34 is plus 2 weapon of Slaying. 35 is plus 1 weapon plus 2 versus lycanthropes. 36 to 38 plus 1 plus 2 versus magic users and enchanted monsters, which would give me great pause to create that if I were a high level wizard. I'm just saying. 39 to 41 plus 1 weapon locating objects ability. 42 to 45 plus 1 plus 2 versus orcs, goblins, and kobolds. 48 to 50 plus 1 plus 3 versus trolls, parentheses clerics. There's another scary one if you're a patriarch or a matriarch. 51 is Weapon of Speed plus 3 on initiative dice. 52 to 55 plus 1 flaming weapon plus 2 versus trolls, Pegasi, hippogriffs, and rocks, and plus 3 versus undead or ints. Interesting they lump trolls in there, but I understand that's what's going to evolve into the flame tongue in advanced 2nd edition, where it's avian creatures. So I get that. 56 to 58 plus 1 weapon, 2 to 8 limited wishes. 59 plus 1, 2 to 8 full wishes. 60 plus 1 plus 5 versus druids, monks, psychics, healers, samurais, idiots, and jesters. I love that one. That's a great entry right there. Idiots and jesters. I really like that. If you've never had one of those at your table, well then, God bless you. 61 to 65 plus 1 weapon plus 3 versus dragons. 66 plus 1 weapon plus 5 versus player characters. I like that one too. 67 plus 2 weapons. 68 plus 3 weapon. 69 to 70 is plus 2 weapon with charm person ability. 71 to 72 is plus 3 weapon. 73 is plus 2 weapon. 9 steps draining ability, which would become the 9 life stealer in advanced 1st edition. 74 plus 3 weapon, 1 life energy draining ability. 75 is plus 4 weapon. 76 plus 5 holy weapon. 77 to 78 plus 3 weapon of cold plus 5 versus fire using dwelling creatures, that'd be including magic users employing fire or fire like spells. Ouch. And that would become the Frostblade. Excuse me. And then 79 to 82 would be plus 2 dragon slaying weapon. 83 would be minus 1 cursed. 84 to 89 minus 2 cursed. 90 minus 3 cursed. 91 minus 4 cursed. 92 minus 5 cursed. 93 plus 3 weapon with 6-inch throwing range with return. 94 would be roll twice for the weapon. 95 would be a weapon like the Sword of Kos, Eldritch Wizardry 41. 96 would be a weapon like Mace of Cuthbert, Eldritch Wizardry 41. 97 would be a dancing weapon. 98 would be a weapon of sharpness. Use the Samurai Critical Blow table of Dragon Volume 1, number 3, at 25 for damage done when 19 or 20 is rolled on the attack dice. 99 is Weapon of Disruption, and 100 is Vorpal Weapon. So I just wanted to share that chart with you really quick and kind of walk through that and laugh at a couple of spots there. I think that was really, really cool. It was Frostbrand, actually, was that weapon of cold. I'm sorry, I said that wrong earlier. Okay. And then the last thing I want to cover is this picture here of this section of the article, which is Gandalf was only a 5th level magic user by Bill Seligman. What? I hear you scream, impossible, you cry. Gandalf was at least 30th, 40th, or even 50th level. After all, he was an Astari, and he had lived at least 2,000 years. Oh, really? I reply. Let us take a look at all the magic he ever performed and see what was so high level about him. First, let us leaf through the Hobbit. In order, Gandalf's spells were 1. To make fancy-colored smoke rings and have them fly about the room. This is no more than a variant on pyrotechnics, with perhaps a bit of phantasm force mixed in. 2. Tricking the trolls with ventriloquism, a 1st level spell. 3. Lightning bolts from his staff to kill the orcs as they kidnapped the dwarves and Bilbo, a 3rd level spell. 4. Pyrotechnics to confuse the orcs to rescue the dwarves and Bilbo, 2nd level spell. 5. Lighting the way for the dwarves and Bilbo while in the caves with a glow from his staff, 2nd level spell. 6. Making pine cones catch fire and tossing them down upon the wargs from a tree, a variant on Fireball, Pyrotechnics, or even the Druid spell Produce Flame. It is not specifically a spell mentioned on the D&D lists, but it is not terribly powerful all the same. And I would actually agree. I played an old Druid many times back in the day, and that was exactly what I pictured every single time that I used Pyrotechnics. 7. Tossing Sauron out of Dol Guldur. He did this in combination with the White Council, and so this does not count as an individual effort. Besides, as I shall later show, Sauron was no more or not much more than 7th or 8th level. 8. A combination of either lightning bolt or light from his staff to warn the good side of the Battle of Five Armies to get together, as you wish. Depending on the spell system you use, you may be able to change these figures by a level or two, but so far Gandalf has shown no abilities above 5th level. Now, let us go to the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. 1. His fireworks display at Bilbo's party, again assuming they were magical, which does not have to be true. A variant on Phantasmal Forces, Pyrotechnics, etc., no more than 2nd level. 2. Lightning Bolt battle with the Nazgul, 3rd level spells. Alright, if you wish to call the taming of Shadowfax magical, okay. After the episode at the Gates of Moria, there is no reason why Gandalf could not speak Equine, but a Charm Animal spell would be easier than Charm Person anyway. 3. Adding fighters to the foam of the river that was overflowing the Nazgul, Phantasmal Force, perhaps a variant on Monster Summoning 1, since we have not a hint as to the level of these fighters. 4. Lighting a fire in the middle of the snowstorm. A touch of fireball or even produce flame. Note here Gandalf reveals how even this simple bit of magic could be detected for such a large distance. This shows the magical weakness of Tolkien's Middle-earth. Aha, you say. I see where you're wrong. Hold on, I'll come to that point later. To continue, 5. The flames when fighting the wargs. Variant on Fireball, 3rd level. 6. Lighting the way in Moria, 1st level spell. 7. Fighting the Balrog. In his description of the battle, it seems to me he only used, or mostly, lightning bolts with perhaps some fireballs if you are generous. Still, only 3rd level. 8. Being resurrected. But this is not done by Gandalf. He was sent back, and therefore nothing to do with himself with the feat. On to the 2 towers. 1. The bursting into flame of Legolas's arrow, a mild fireball, perhaps even an unusual form of protection from normal missiles. 2. The awakening of Theoden, a combination of lightning, light, and darkness, no more than 3rd level. 3. The breaking of Saruman's staff. This could have been a natural result of one Istari saying that to another, a mild charm person effect, or something of that nature. It is not spectacular enough, in any case, to go beyond 3rd level spellcasting. And now the Return of the King. 1. The beams of light used to rescue Faramir, more powerful than Lightning Bolt, for all the effect they had. They could have been the 3rd level spell Fire Beam, described in, I believe, Alarums and Excursions number 12. 2. In the Battle of Slag Hills, when Gandalf should perhaps have used the maximum amount of his powers, he did nothing mentioned in the book. Perhaps he used Lightning Bolt or a Fireball or Beam, but this is still no higher than 3rd level spells. 3. Talking mind to mind with Elrond and Galadriel. You don't need any more than ESP to make this work. And this is it. If I have left any spells out, like Gandalf using the Hold Portal or Wizard Lock in Moria, it is not intentional, but I do not think that they would go beyond 3rd level. If the words I have used, such as variant, make you think that he must have been at least 11th level to research the spells, remember that he had his staff and the ring and Narya the Great, which was associated with fire-type spells anyway. Since he was forced to use them several times when, as I have shown, a 5th level mage did not need them, perhaps he was even less than 5th level, but I shall not try to press my point too far. If you ask how he lasted so long battling a Balrog, I reply that this is a fault with the D&D combat system. So the point that a 5th level mage could not withstand the blows of the 10th level Balrog does not quite hold water. I am referring only to the Balrog in D&D, not including the Eldritch Wizardry characteristics, as this type of Balrog is usually said to be too weak for a true Tolkien Balrog. In fact, when placed in perspective with Gandalf's battle with one, the Balrog described by Gygax and Arneson originally was of normal strength. As far as I'm concerned, the Type 4 or Type 6 demon is a Type 6 demon, not a Balrog. As for Sauron, without going into too much detail, clairvoyance, ESP, and perhaps an advanced wizard's eye, with much longer ranges than described in D&D. But since he has the Palantir, maybe he let the thing do most of the work for him. And his red eye. If you are going to be nasty, then let him have control weather, which makes him 12th level. Still not spectacular when there are those who regard Saruman as 75th level or so. So how do we reconcile our intuition with the bare facts? Well, for one thing, as I hinted above, the universe of Lord of the Rings was Magic Week. It is easy to assume that it was run by a very tough DM who rewarded experience so slowly that it would take 2,000 years for a pseudo-angel to get to the fifth level, and 6,000 years or so for an EHP to reach 12th. But it's still unsettling. I would rather place the blame on the scale we are using, the D&D magic system. It seems a more likely thing for Gygax and Arneson to misjudge the spell levels. So what can we do? Change the spell system, the experience system, or the level of spells, or all the above? What is your response? Please address your responses to Out on a Limb, Ed. So I just thought that was a really cool little article. Because our imagination goes one particular direction, and we can just take that way out of proportion, and maybe in game mechanics it's a little more realistically settled in an entirely different direction. And maybe you don't play Tolkien-esque style games, and that's fine too. Today we call them low magic games. If you were to play in Tolkien's world, maybe you like more of the high fantasy, ripping off spells like crazy and all that kind of stuff. I find that to be in most modern systems, and for me personally, that makes Magic not feel quite so magical. But I understand there are a lot of people that like that, the ongoing cantrips and all of those kinds of things. I much prefer the old school because that's where I came from, where magic is truly really magical and hard to come by, to some extent difficult to make and come up with, often encountering lots of interesting quests or issues or challenges or trials to accomplish the components for such, doing the research, and that's part of the fun of the game. But to each his own, whatever you like at your table and however you run it, that's cool. But I just thought I would share this from Dragon Magazine number 5 today. And this will probably be my last video for this year. I know I'm kind of infrequent with my videos from time to time, but I hope you're enjoying them. Thanks again to all the new subs. Thanks, Rex, all you guys on the chat. That was really cool today. Again, thanks to Old Warlock and Dungeon Minister and Bandit's Keep and Hexed Press and all these other guys that I watch out here too on all their channels. I just appreciate you guys a lot, and look forward to continuing to consume more of your content, and I hope you'll do the same for mine. All right. Well, as Mr. Gygax always said in his old articles, prosper and good gaming. Take care. Later.